Okay, the recording has started.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 13th, 2022 meeting of Mansfield Sustainability Committee. I will call the meeting to order at 6:01. It's great to see everyone. We have a quorum and Lena Hancock will be seated for regular member Alfred Tony, who couldn't make it tonight. So happy spring. It's good to see you guys. Let's start with a motion to approve the March 9th minutes.
So moved.
So I'll second.
Peter, second. All right, we have a first from Peter, second from Katie. Do we have any discussion about the minutes? All right, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it looked like Lena was saying aye. Bill, Louis, how about those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so unsure of Bill's vote, but Bill, if you want, I don't know if you use the chat or if you want to put your mic on, you can tell us if you vote for approval or not at any time. Okay, so let's move on. On the agenda tonight, we have an update on sustainable CT submission, the climate resolution and how the data looks from the benchmarking report, the Earth Extravaganza planned for April 23rd, and an update at the new elementary school, which may be tabled because Susanna wasn't able to make it tonight. So let's get started with an update from Ginny on sustainable CT submission.
So what has been submitted to Sustainable CT is 505 points. And the highest, these are the general categories. The highest points to get, or the highest award, is silver, which you need 400 points and 3 equity actions. So if you want, I will just run through the different categories and what's been submitted, unless you don't want me to go into quite that much detail. So just let me know how you want me to proceed. But I could just briefly show you what has been submitted.
Yeah, and I'm just going to mention that as Director of Sustainable CT and Chair of this committee, I will just be listening, and I have no role reviewing Mansfield's submission. We have a conflict of interest policy around that on the Sustainable CT team. So go ahead, Ginny.
Okay, so unless I hear objections, I'll just start opening up each of the categories and let you know what we submitted.
Sounds great.
Okay, good. So we need 3 equity actions. 2 were submitted, and one was for Solar for All, and the other is the Helping Hands program that is being offered through the planning department. We've participated in equity actions, equity training, I'm sorry. And not sure about, okay, so that's completed. There's no action on that. Okay, so let me go to Thriving Communities. We have, if they're not highlighted, so then we haven't done anything. The completed ones are in green. So, so we're probably not going to do a purchasing policy. That just seems to be a bigger reach than can be done. But there is a possibility in May, after the budget's approved, that maybe the finance department will be agreeable to train some people in sustainable purchasing. So completed is an inventory of local products and services to promote local products and services. And there's also some things regarding local businesses. Okay, well sorted. Tell me to stop if you have any questions. Okay, so there's quite a bit on watershed management plan. And I'm not sure about 3.3 or I think, yeah, but there is an open space plan. So anyhow, yeah, these things are in progress, but they wouldn't have been submitted this time.
Ginny, a lot of this is too small print for me to read comfortably. You don't,
Is it?
you don't want to read it all, but if in just the general topics.
Okay, well, I can't, the thing is with this, I can't tell you how many points are in each topic unless I go through, you know, I had asked the intern to do kind of a high overview. But I think this is what is that better, the view of this?
A little bit, but mostly just looking at the screen at this time of day is hard for me. You don't need to do anything special. I thought you were just assuming we were reading as you were going along. Okay.
Well, you know, I don't need to go through this if you don't want me to, if it's not helpful. Just I can say that we're applying for 505 points. There's definitely one equity action that is completed. And so for this preview, we are just submitting one completed equity action. So we're requesting the bronze award for the spring. But there's a lot in the 3-point actions. Oh geez, let me get to, okay. So anyhow, I don't need to go through this if it's too hard to read.
That's just me. Other people I'm sure are able to.
Well, not if anybody doesn't speak up. So because I can't see you. I just am showing the screen with the so I can stop. So the equity, there are 2 other equity actions, but that will probably be, you know, I'm hoping for feedback on Solar for All, which was done during the pandemic, so it was kind of tricky. And the other thing about it is that the Solar for All program was kind of pre-established, and the equity action is really looking for process, how you landed where you want, the process you used to land with the action you were going to take. And Solar for All is already made. So I was a little bit confused about the worksheet that they wanted done, Sustainable CT wanted done in process. So anyhow, probably more information than you need. So it's
There, are there examples for what other towns have done for their equity actions?
yes, and they can be found on the Sustainable CT website. You can go to past applications and see what they submitted. So I did not look at other towns that might have submitted solar for all as an equity action, but that is something that I could do. But the reviewers are going to comment on what's missing for the solar for all, and then I'll just try to fix it. So are there any questions about the application submission, the final application submissions in August? The intern has been phenomenal. His help, I think he's with us 2 more weeks and then he's off and gone. So after that, it'll be Jennifer and I that will be fine tuning or seeing that the application's fine tuned. And so between the 2 of us, we'll get the application, the final application out in August, applying for the silver award, not the bronze, which is the higher award. It's the highest award at this point. I could, though, speak to the climate designation. So let me share that screen. And I don't know, can you see this? The various,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we can.
Let's see. Yeah.
All right. So Solar for All is one of the climate leader designation actions could be. We did sign a CPACE resolution, but that doesn't count because that was far back and it was years and years ago. So we don't get any credit for that. We've adopted a complete streets policy. We did benchmark, which I can share with you in a minute, the municipal and Board of Ed buildings. We have not achieved an energy efficiency target in the municipal and Board of Ed buildings, and you'll see that with the benchmark report. We don't have high achieving buildings, Energy Star certified buildings yet, or lead silver or higher buildings. And we don't use enough renewable energy to qualify under this. So let's see, implement a community energy campaign. Solar for All qualifies for that. And the materials data, you know, I have submitted that, like what we're producing per capita. We are not reducing our solid waste, it's going up. So we're supposed to, under this, achieve 140 points. We are not there. So, and I don't see us doing anything else here that will get us 240 points. So we are not going to qualify as it stands for the climate leader designation. So I don't know if you have any questions about that. If not, I'll stop sharing the screen. So that's it for the climate leader designation.
Okay, well, that was a lot of work. Thank you, and Jennifer and Thomas for pulling it all together. Was there anything? Well, I saw you mentioned a couple other committees, but are you getting a sense that some of the other committees that we met with are engaged, and do they, I don't know, is it, there's something we could be doing to increase collaboration?
Much of the points that you see were all were staff people, you know, doing the legwork. So the heavy lift, although not as heavy this time around, the heavy lift was from planning and zoning. There was a lot from them. Yeah, from them. So yeah, and you know, wetlands and yeah. So, but no, I haven't heard from committees, so I don't really know. But I think I do think though that I did report to the department heads the status. This was before the submission was made, but the status of where we were at that point. And so the staff members and those people that head up committees are well aware of sustainable CT. And I do think that Thomas did a really nice job of reaching out to staff members who could then turn to their committees and say, you know, let's work on this and that. But really, it's the town employees that are putting this together. So, yeah.
Anyone have any questions or comments to share on this? Okay, let's move on to the climate resolution and the benchmarking report. So the background, as you will recall, the climate resolution that we drafted and the town council passed said that within 6 months, the departments would evaluate their emissions from operations. And so this is getting to that, right, Ginny?
Yes, it is. So it's comparing the year 2009 to 2022, most of the comparisons. So, and it's really all municipal buildings. So the top here, for instance, this here is the site energy use. So it's and you can see that the town's energy use has dropped 10%. So that's a good thing. Yeah. And our carbon emissions, which is this line here, has dropped 17.6%. But it wasn't, let's see, because I went over this with Amy Thompson at UConn, who helped in creating this report. It wasn't, though, enough of a drop to qualify for any points under sustainable CT. It was I think, yeah, I don't know which line it was. Oh, well, for instance, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to it now.
Ginny,
Um,
did Amy Thompson say what other towns, what the average is percentage drop in greenhouse gas emissions, or what was the percentage drop that Sustainable CT was looking for?
It wasn't in greenhouse gas emissions. It was in,
It's in site energy use, right? And we say 10% or more. So I'm confused why she said that wouldn't qualify.
And is that 2009 to 2022? Who defined the starting date as 2009?
it was when the buildings, when there was complete data in the buildings, that was like the first year.
Okay.
So I think, Lynn, what it was, geez, my memory, oh my gosh.
You've been on vacation.
Yeah, I know. I've been
That's okay.
thinking about honeybees and sheep and yeah, so, but my recollection is that the baseline year was not going back to 2009. It was going back to, it needed to be, I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was a more recent year.
Yeah. So you said what you showed us was a decrease from 2009.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so anyhow, and the other key piece of information was, how much of the energy that is used by the buildings, how much of that is from renewables. And it's like 2% comes from renewables, and maybe that's what it was. And we don't qualify. Electricity used generated from on-site and used off-site. So we don't qualify for points for using a significant I think it has to be 10%. So in any case.
Yeah, I'm just looking, the baseline year has to be within the past 5 years. So the 2009, it would have to be like 2017 or something.
Yeah, I think we used 2019 or so yeah, that's what it looks like. But, and I sent this to you, correct? I sent you guys the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Over. All right. So, but we've now converted from a paid platform to track energy use and cost to the EPA's portfolio manager, which is free. And so that's nice to have that. And we also have the expertise of Amy Thompson from UConn to help with this.
What department is Amy Thompson in?
I think she's in engineering.
Okay, so she's an engineer. Okay.
So, anything that you want me to show on the screen that hasn't been shown? If not, I'll stop sharing.
Okay, yeah, I guess you can, that's great to have all that data in there. I mean, that's a long history, and it'll be, yeah, it'll be cool to see when the new elementary school goes online, how the overall portfolio emissions,
Yeah.
energy use reduced.
Now, so the climate resolution that this committee proposed and brought before the town council, and the town council passed, says that that there needs to be a baseline of information. So that benchmark, that spreadsheet I just showed you, is that it's the buildings, what the buildings use for electricity, heat, and it doesn't include water information. But I also then got the amount of gasoline and diesel that the fleets used for fiscal year 20 to 2021. And I think the way I calculated it is correct. I mean, it's a small fraction of what the buildings consume, but I could use help with, if we want it, because the resolution says to not only include building use, but fleet, what does the fleet use? What are some of the products that the town consumes that could be also tracked for emissions? So I could use a little bit of help of the figuring out the math on the emissions for some of these things. So I started a very rudimentary spreadsheet, but I don't know if there's anybody that is really interested in doing those kinds of calculations.
Are you basically taking each vehicle? Do you have the fuel use from the town records?
Well, I could, yeah, we have town records. So I thought, well, let me just start with the total used.
Total gas?
Total gasoline, total diesel.
Yeah.
And then I figured out, what the CO2 emissions are for gasoline, what they are for diesel.
Mhm.
The benchmark report, though, does it in millions of metric tons, I believe. And so, yeah, there's some conversions that needed to be done. But what I came up with, which I think is correct, is a fraction of the town's total, for the fleet. So, I mean, I can also work with my boss in the calculations of this as well. But I just wondered if there was someone from the committee, if I fed you information that would be interested in doing calculations.
I'll see if I can do something with it.
Okay.
I've done cost surveys before from my former company. So I sort of understand the nuts and bolts of it that way.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. So I'll provide you with the information and yeah, see.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another, I don't know, the folks at Pace, like Bernie and Mark Scully, they do some of this estimating, projecting of greenhouse gas emissions and fleet. I think they have more of like a process for estimating emissions from all the private vehicles registered in the town, but they must have a methodology of like the conversion for from gas and diesel for CO2 equivalents and things like that.
Mhm. Okay,
All
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well,
Excellent.
okay. Thank you, Katie, for volunteering.
Well, like I said, I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Keep
Yeah,
me
I-
busy and out of trouble, so.
I would second what Lynn said. Ginny, I guess that Lynn probably knows how to get in touch with Mark and Bernie, but if you want, I can send you their email address, and they are very much into this, but on the whole town. So, but I'm not clear whether whether you're going, okay, if we burned 10,000 gallons of gasoline, is it where you're going is that to CO2 emissions? That's the conversion you want to make?
Yes, yeah,
They should be able to help on that. I'd be glad to give you their email addresses.
that'd be great.
I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So the idea is then this data will be shared with the departments, and we've got this as the baseline, like this point in time. And
Yes.
then that will be tracked as we move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, so right, I don't know, like if there's a methodology that this committee wants to use for then tracking information. I mean, there's the portfolio manager, but then for the fleet vehicles, which is a contributor, and we do get a report on each vehicle, how many gallons of gas they use or diesel in the course of a year. So we do have access to that, but
So I mean, it might be good to have some levels of data in the spreadsheet of emissions per mile traveled composite or something like that, so that when we look at it over time, we know that, oh, well, we had a reduction, but it was because now that they're doing online permitting or inspections or whatever, which is good, this is why it went down, or it maybe went down because some of the vehicles were converted to electric or something like that. So, yeah, I guess the spreadsheet you're working with will probably be the thing that is used and data is added to it each year to look at. So, yeah, maybe we should, maybe next time we look at the spreadsheet together as a committee and get ideas on what are those other pieces of data we want to have connected to this, like a number of vehicles, number of miles, whatever it is, if that's easy to do.
yeah, is there a way to combine the portfolio manager data, which is by building or can be by building, right? And have that a part of vehicle emissions and some data on waste. Waste will be very small. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a small component, but just we're trying to get as complete a picture as possible.
Yeah.
So
Well, I would think on that picture too, is we would want to also include the electric vehicles. Simply because they have to be charged. They're not promoting anything into the atmosphere. They are in the long run because we have to charge them up, and Eversource is putting out emissions
Mhm.
to provide that electricity.
Right.
So it might be good, good to have at least one line on the electric vehicles that we have with the town.
Yeah.
That's that, you know, see, that's the underside of going all electric is you're using oil and gas and coal to produce the
Yeah.
electricity.
Mm.
And that in turn, if we're using more electricity, we're going to be using more of those products too to make the electricity.
Did you want to say something, Bill?
No, I think it's right. I think she's right.
Yeah,
Get that information, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough to have a line about that, but Katie, I'm sure you don't mean that using an electric car leads to the same level of emissions.
No.
as using- Okay.
I am for electric cars, but we also have to realize that it still takes something to make that electricity. Now, maybe it won't take as many gallons of oil to make the electricity as it does to make gas for your car. But it's still factored into that we're still putting greenhouse gases out there because we're doing more electricity. And that's another aspect that somewhere along the line, some of the high mucky mucks have got to look into and do more research into cleaning up that.
It's worth mentioning that in New England, I think the last coal plant has or is about to go out of commission. I don't think we burn hardly any oil at all. But about 40% of electricity does come from natural gas.
Yeah.
Which is too high.
Yeah. But I just think it's another thing to think about, and no way in shape and manner, I am not against electric cars. I think it's a great idea.
Until the grid's 100% renewable, electric vehicles fueling has a fossil fuel impact.
Right.
It's less and they're more efficient, but yeah, we can't say it's not part of our carbon footprint. Yeah, it's there's a lot of pieces to this. But
Yeah.
so the buildings is huge, getting that data, and we're not going to get all of this like immediately. It's just going to be improvements over time. So what we can, yeah, having what you've done with the vehicles, Ginny, is I think a great start, and we can figure out nuances and some of the other pieces as we move forward. But like, it's giving the town a look at something that we didn't have any real ability to measure, and we just have to be, I think we have to be I think we have to acknowledge that this is good progress, and even though it's not getting at everything, that takes time, and this is way better than nothing. And it's, yeah, it's we're just moving towards what we can do.
Yeah.
So I was going to contact or ask the town manager after the budget stuff is settled, you know, things become a little more cleared on his plate.
Yeah.
To just share with him the benchmarking information that he can then pass on to town council and also department heads.
Great.
So
Awesome.
So it'll be soon. So, but I'll work with you, Katie, and as much as we can provide to them is good, you know.
Yep.
Same thing.
Okay. In the meantime, those department heads should be looking at like the actions, right? That they've implemented and those kinds of things. So maybe having this data will be a chance for Ryan to remind them of that. Cool. All right, shall we move on to the Earth Extravaganza, the Earth Day Fair? Yeah, we had a lot of talk, a lot of action over email about the EV showcase and stuff like that. So what's going on?
So Lena, you're bringing an electric bike that's been retrofitted with a electric battery, right? To share.
Yay!
I'll bring my baby.
I'm glad we have a bike and not just cars. That's cool.
And my friend Luann is coming also. She has a ready-built e-bike, so we'll have a couple of different options to show people.
Nice.
Good.
And Peter, I looked at emails briefly before this meeting, but you sent something about electric cars. I think we've got 6 lined up, right?
Sort of. It depends who exactly. I have some maybes,
Okay,
but I think we have 4 definites. We
okay,
have, or maybe we have 5 definites. 2 of them are Teslas, but 2 different kinds of Teslas. There's a 6th car that would be a second Leaf. My preference, and then I have 2 maybes. One is a RAV4 and the other one is a Bolt. A Bolt. If I could, if they both said yes, and I can only have 6 spaces, or we can only have 6 spaces, then I would try to gently nudge, say maybe that the second Leaf and the second Tesla don't need to be there. But in my email, I asked, is there any chance that we could get more than 6 parking spaces in case everybody shows up?
I'll ask Sarah Dufresne. So she's the one who is the logistics person on it. So I'll ask and see what she says.
Sure, that's as much as you can do. The other thing is, do you know what time people should show up to get set up? I mean, if it starts at 1, what time?
I would say noon. Come at noon.
Okay.
Yeah. That way especially for the cars, they're not driving around while people are meandering. So yeah, I would be set up at noon. I mean, this is only 2 hours long. That's the other thing to be aware of. So it's not a whole day thing. And then the other table under this group's purview is pollinator pathways. So Sue Harrison, who's on the Conservation Commission, she is going to have activities regarding pollinators. She's an educator and a biologist. So, and I will sign out a tablet to get people signed up for the pollinator pathway, meaning, committing to not using pesticides, planting native plants, there's a variety of things. And we'll sell the medallions. We've got some medallions to sell. So that will be another table. And then I have some solid waste stuff. We're gonna give out kits, compost kits, do a recycle sort, and have a stuffed animal repair clinic.
Aww. That's cute.
So, and I think that's it for this group.
Ginny, so people should show up with their EVs at noon, and this would be in the the Mansfield Community Center parking lot, right?
Yeah, so you know, the parking lot that leads up to the playground.
Yep.
So it's on the South Eagleville side of the community center.
Okay.
But I'll confirm with Sarah when I ask her about number of cars.
Okay. Any other special instructions you'd want them to all know about?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your help on that.
Yeah, thanks for organizing that, Peter. That was good. That all got hatched at our last meeting and with the follow-up. It's gonna be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I see on the agenda, it says confirm volunteers. Ginny, did you need other people or were you meaning for the cars and stuff?
Yeah, just this conversation that we were having. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good. Anything else on that event?
Just by the way, Jenny, I'm pretty sure that I will be there to volunteer, particularly for the organizing of the EVs. They're
yeah.
a very rowdy group, rowdy people.
Yeah, I'm under control.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very polarized. Some of them are positive and some of them are negative. It's, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Put me on mute.
yeah. Oh, wow.
All right. So I guess we're on to the new elementary school update. Susanna wrote in that she wasn't able to come, suggested we get another member of the committee. I wasn't on top of things, so we weren't able to arrange that. I don't know if anyone has anything they're aware of to report or.
No.
Okay.
There is one question, and that has come up with the portfolio manager, the energy benchmarking. And that question is, because we have solar panels on some of the other buildings that are not, the way to access their information is you have to go to that building and read the meter. And so the question, you would think that this would be integrated into this, but the question is, will this information on the solar energy that's being produced, will that be accessible electronically to, for instance, the maintenance department, so that they can, that it can be uploaded either automatically into Portfolio Manager, or at least accessed remotely by town staff. So that is something that I think it's a detail, but it's important, because if we don't have, it's one of those things that could kind of be forgotten and not worked out. And then who has
Yes,
access to
maybe
that
that's,
information?
Maybe that's just a question to the building committee or through the superintendent.
It's, yeah. Yes, and so the maintenance department was gonna look, they were
Okay.
like, yeah, we need to look into this and make sure that we're set
Okay.
to be able to access this information
Yeah.
easily. So, yeah.
It would be really surprising if it wasn't online.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would be. But surprising things do happen.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Ginny, have you heard anything else about where things are with regard to the putting of panels on the middle school and the solar carport for the town hall? Do you know where any of those projects are at?
No, solar carport for the town hall. I know nothing about that.
Oh, I
Was
thought you told me that I thought that you said that.
It's at the, I think it's over at the transfer station or something like that.
Yeah,
It's not at the town hall.
I don't know where but I can ask.
Hmm. If, just by the way, since we're talking about some of this, you know, I don't have the energy tonight to do anything about it, but if they're not planning to do something at the town hall, I think we should be saying, well, why not? What have you looked into? And then I was talking to somebody at E.O. Smith on the E.O. Smith board and said, so what did you think of our letter to you? She said, I don't remember ever getting a letter. So she said it may have come and, you know, we may not have, you know, registered it. So as you have observed, you know, things don't necessarily happen the way you would like to think they would happen. And so it may be incumbent on us, maybe me to, you know, to say what's going on this.
Peter, do you want the email to be resent to the principal and superintendent?
At E.O. Smith?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think
sure,
it
why
would
not?
hurt.
Sure.
Do a
And-
follow-up, yeah.
Actually, you would think, can you send it to the board also? Was it sent to the board?
I don't recall.
I think sending it to the board wouldn't be a bad, and maybe, can you send a letter to me? I think that I sent it to you and then you, but I don't know what the final version, could you send it to me? Maybe we need to ask, not just, hey, here's a good idea, but here's a good idea. Could you please let us know what you think of it or something like that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of follow-up on things, just like when I was looking over last month's minutes, I assume, remember we voted to nominate some people for the Taste of Mansfield Champions. Did all that stuff happen?
Yes, it is Tri-County Greenhouse that's being nominated. No, wait.
Oh, we
Yeah.
said Stephanie and
Yeah,
Diane Dorfer.
yeah. So I don't think they're awarding Tri-County Greenhouse.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good.
But yes, it was sent to them
Okay.
and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Katie, you were going to talk to the town planner to see if EV charging stations are.
It was brought up at one of our meetings,
Mhm.
and it is something that I gotta bring up to regulatory review again.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that set all our regulations, and then we as a group vote on them.
Okay.
And, but it was brought up at the meeting, but nothing's been done yet.
Okay. Thank you, though. That's, yeah. All these little nudges.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think we've gotten through everything. Any last items or things people would like to include on next month's agenda before we adjourn? All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a lovely Earth Day. I'm sorry I won't be able to come to Mansfield's event, I have to go speak at Litchfield's event at the same time. That's pretty far away. But anyway, yeah, enjoy it. Sounds like it'll be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
yeah.
good.
Bye. Take
Litchfield sounds like it's not even in this state.
Yeah, it's hardly known. Way out there.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Well, I'll
Thanks,
see
Denise.
some of
Bye.
you,
Good
I'll
night,
see
everyone.
some
Thank
of you
you.
on the 23rd.
Bye.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.